Well, good morning. It's Tuesday, January 9th, 2023, and we had a section here. The cows hadn't grazed yet in this row. This is the fourth row. This is just south of so that fence is actually the midway line of our field where I kept all the stuff. It's extremely windy. It's cold. I'm not comfortable. I wanted to talk about a lot of stuff. I went on a road trip over the past week and a half or so, and I listened to a lot of different talks from Jim Garish and Ray Archuleta and some others, and I have a lot of insight, things that I want to do on my pasture here. I'm not happy out here right now. I'm cold. I needed to get some protein out to the cows. You can see they're a little light on the forage, at least the longhorns there are. Let's take a look at the Angus. Yeah, this one's a little bit light, number 10. I'm looking at the triangle there. You know. Well, one thing I did want to say is if you're just starting out to grazing, like you're never done this before, you have no idea what you're doing. Pretty much with any skill, any technique that you want to learn and you want to become proficient at, you really have to start by listening to one guy, because the experts are going to give you conflicting advice. It's just the nature of being an expert. So number 24 is a little thin here, but she's doing just fine. You know, we'll see if she gives me a calf. So yeah, that's one bit of advice, is you got to listen to one guy. You know, kind of take him as the superior expert, whether or not he is. And what happens is, as you study that one guy, you'll start to realize that he doesn't know everything, right? Hopefully he tells you as much, but you'll start to realize he doesn't know everything, and then you'll start to realize the questions that he has. This calf's doing pretty good. It's still a little bit hollow. They need some more food here. And and then when you go to study other experts, you'll notice that they're different, that they have different ideas about the same things. And then you'll start to be able to compare and contrast and develop your own expertise. But really, you got to start with one person. Otherwise, you'll be doing this and that and going back and forth, and you know, you'll never really start. You know, because you'll be trying different things and never really consistent, right? So for me, that person was Greg Judy, and I think honestly, among the experts that I've studied so far, if you want to graze cattle, Greg Judy is a great place to start. And the reason why I say that is he doesn't really give a lot of esoteric advice. He doesn't talk too much about principles. He talks more about like practical results and like what you're trying to focus on, and like the things you can actually see and measure. You know, I'll kind of give you an example. Ray Archuleta, great guy. He has tons of information and knowledge that he wants to share with the world. And he recognizes that the issue isn't the lack of knowledge. The issue is a lack of motivation to exercise, to try out new things and you know, experiment and stuff like that. And so his talks, they focus on motivation, right? So you listen to one of Ray Archuleta's talks, it feels like you're listening to a motivational speaker from the 90s. Right? But he has some very, very sound advice in terms of like studying principles rather than techniques, right? And the principle, the thing that is really driving this operation here, is the idea that I, meaning me, and because it has to be me, it has to be focused around me, otherwise I wouldn't do anything. I can't tell other people to do stuff that I'm not willing to do myself. But the idea is that I can make grass grow, I can make healthy cattle, I can make tasty meat, you know, without, you know, having a PhD in cattle and without buying a ton of inputs, right? And this is really the magic that I think is going to lead to another agricultural revolution in the United States that we haven't seen before, you know. Well, we have seen it before, but it happened in the 1800s. Thomas Jefferson envisioned a country of farmers and ranchers, and he wanted us to learn freedom by truly becoming truly independent and self-sufficient. And his idea was that if we were a bunch of basically nobles, right, because we were self-sufficient, we could feed ourselves and our family and our friends and our neighbors, and we didn't rely on other people giving us stuff or making stuff for us, that if we could develop that mentality in the United States, then we could become truly free. And I think nowadays something similar is happening. People are waking up to the fact that our food is poison, that medicine is poison, that the doctors have been leading us astray, not because they're bad people, but because the system's broken, right? And what broke it was a series of decisions based on an idea that was incorrect, right? And that idea is that chemistry and science can explain everything that matters to us, okay? And we're waking up to this fact that reality is way more complicated than your chemistry set. That nature isn't a chemical balance. That there's other things happening that we could barely understand. Even now, right? We're learning about stuff at the cutting edge of this regenerative agricultural movement that we barely understand what's going on, right? And the people that are leading this effort, that have been doing this for decades, they don't know what the limit is. They don't know how productive they can make their land. There's people doing 230 bushels of corn per acre with no fertilizer. They're doing cover crops. They're doing no-till methods. The sky's the limit, right? The ground just keeps getting better, and as they learn more and more about what's actually going on downstairs, they're able to make more and more. And I think somebody asked Greg Judy the question. They said, how productive can your land become? And he's like, oh gosh, I don't know. I don't know what the limit is. I know I'm nowhere near the limit. And somebody asked our friend up in Virginia that does the chicken tractors, Joel Salatin, a similar question. He's like, I have no idea what the limit is. I'd like to find out. I'd like to keep pushing and building better and better soil to see how far it can go, right? So we're standing on this movement, kind of like the storm that's sweeping across the plains here right now. We had, I don't know how much rain last night, probably an inch and a half, maybe 2. But there's a movement that's changing the way people think about their food, the way they think about agriculture, and we're just on the leading edge of this, Like, people have been doing this for 50 years. They were the early pioneers. We're kind of the second group coming through. So if you're interested in agriculture, if you think this stuff is interesting, if you want to try your hand at it, I think now's a great time. It's a great time, especially because the economy hasn't caught up to what's happening, right? This is a business model where if it works, I can sell cows for pennies on the dollar, right? It's rainwater and sunlight, Rainwater and sunlight feed my cows. Eventually, I'm going to get to a point where I don't buy any hay. Maybe I'll get to a point where I don't buy any minerals either, And but the point is that it's all natural. Like, the nature already knows how to grow cows, and we're just learning how to unlock that potential. So guys, have a great day. Take care and bye-bye.